We often think of breakfast as just the first meal of the day. But what if it's much more than that? Today, we're going to dive into why your breakfast is one of the most critical health decisions you make every single day, especially once you're over 60. Let's get into why that is, and more importantly, what you can do about it.
So let's start with a really powerful question. What if the breakfast you had this morning is silently, day by day, contributing to the very things we all want to avoid, like heart issues, memory decline, or that loss of strength that just makes life harder? It's a heavy thought for sure, but it really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. And here's the thing. The reason this matters so much more as we age is simple. When you're 30, your body's incredibly forgiving. But after 60, it's playing by a whole new set of rules. Your metabolism slows down, we naturally lose muscle if we don't get enough protein, and our bodies become way more sensitive to those big blood sugar swings. The exact same meal has a completely different effect.
And this all leads to the hidden impact of your morning routine. That first choice you make doesn't just get you through the next hour, it literally sets the metabolic and energetic tone for your entire day. But here's the problem. Some of the most common breakfast foods, well, they set the wrong tone entirely.
So let's pull back the curtain on some of these really familiar foods. We're going to look at 3 very common breakfast traps that so many of us fall into, a lot of times thinking we're actually making a pretty harmless choice. All right, first up is trap number 1, what seems like a totally innocent, healthy bowl of cereal. I mean, it's fast, it's easy, but what is actually going on inside your body right after you eat it? Okay, let's break this down. A lot of popular cereals, even the ones that look healthy, are packed with 10 to 18 grams of added sugar. This causes this massive spike in your blood sugar, which is always followed by a crash. And that crash, that's what leaves you feeling tired, a little irritable, and foggy by mid-morning. And maybe even more important, these cereals have almost none of the protein you need to fight muscle loss. And they're missing the fiber that gives you stable, all-day energy.
This isn't just theory. It's something doctors hear all the time. People come in and say, I just don't get it. I feel completely wiped out by 11 a.m. And they can't figure out why. So often the answer is sitting right there in their breakfast bowl.
Now let's move on to our second trap. And it's another one of those comforting classics, the light slice of toast. For so many of us, it just feels like the right way to start the day. But that comfort can be pretty misleading. So here's the deal with white toast. It's made from highly refined flour, which your body treats almost exactly like sugar. It just converts instantly, so you get that same exact unstable energy roller coaster. A big spike followed by a big crash. And just like the cereal, it has basically no protein for your muscles and very little fiber to keep you feeling full and energized. And of course, once you add butter, you're piling on a good amount of saturated fat too.
And that brings us to our third and final trap, the hearty, all-American classic of processed breakfast meats. I mean, who doesn't love the smell of bacon or sausage cooking in the morning? It feels like home. But what happens inside our bodies after we eat it? Well, that's a whole different story.
The real issue here is all the processing. These meats are just loaded with sodium, which can push your blood pressure up over time. They're also high in saturated fat, which can raise that bad LDL cholesterol. And then you have the chemical preservatives, things like nitrates, which have been linked to chronic inflammation. All of this, day after day, puts a ton of long-term stress on your heart and your whole cardiovascular system. Okay, so that was the bad news. But here's the great news. The solutions are actually simple, they're powerful, and they're totally accessible. So let's look at 3 breakfast swaps that can really help you build strength, stabilize your energy, and even keep your mind sharp. First up, let's completely rebuild oatmeal. Don't just settle for plain oatmeal. Let's build it into a powerhouse. You start with plain oats. That's for the heart-healthy beta-glucan fiber. Then add some berries for antioxidants that help protect your brain cells. Toss in some walnuts or almonds for healthy fats that keep you full. And here's the game-changing step. Stir in a big spoonful of plain Greek yogurt. That gives you that crucial protein boost to maintain your muscle. Next, let's build a better plate of eggs. Eggs are amazing. They've got high-quality protein to fight muscle loss. And they have a nutrient called choline, which is fantastic for your brain function. But don't just stop there. Add in some veggies like spinach or tomatoes for fiber and vitamins, and then pair it all with a slice of real whole grain toast for that slow, steady energy release. And for those days you're in a hurry, you can build a better yogurt bowl, no cooking required. Start with plain Greek yogurt. It has way more protein than the regular kind. Then, just like with the oatmeal, pile on your power toppings. Fresh fruit for antioxidants, a sprinkle of chia or flax seeds for those good omega-3s, and a handful of nuts for healthy fats that will keep you satisfied for hours. So when you look at it this way,
what's the big takeaway? Well, each of these better choices gives you a powerful mix of benefits. If your main goal is supporting your muscles, eggs and Greek yogurt are absolutely excellent. If you're focused on heart health, oatmeal is the clear winner. And for that stable, long-lasting energy, you really can't go wrong with either oatmeal or eggs. This all leads to a much bigger idea. Your breakfast is your future. It really does sound like such a small choice, doesn't it? But that one meal every single morning has this profound compounding impact on your health and your independence for years to come. Just look at this contrast. It really shows the two paths you can choose every morning. On one side, you've got the daily strain from those breakfast traps, the sugar spikes, the inflammation, the energy crashes. And on the other side, you have the daily strength that comes from a better breakfast, stable blood sugar, muscle preservation, heart protection, and real mental clarity. I mean, the choice is pretty clear, right? Ultimately, it really all comes down to this simple truth. Healthy aging is not about some dramatic, one-time fix. It's shaped by the small, consistent decisions you make, day in and day out. And your breakfast is honestly one of the easiest and most powerful places to start. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. After everything we've covered, what is the one small change you can make to your morning routine starting tomorrow to invest in your own future strength, your clarity, and your vitality?